Oh, looks like we're live. Yeah, I didn't mess it up. All right. Hold on, guys.
Stop, we have something. We have something.
Right when I hit it, I'm like,
forward.
oh, there's literally a part that says intro video. I was like, I should have fucking done that first. All right. Hold on. Let's see how this goes. Hey, everybody. I'm Mumbling Nick.
Liquid Cryptid.
Once we get this debacle going, it should be good. All right. I was gonna take us off. Fuck it. We'll get it going.
Let's just go. Let's just
yeah. You know what? We'll play it at the end. How about that? We'll close with the fucking.
Oh no, we can play it now. I want to see it.
All right.
I've not seen it yet.
There we go.
Needs a little volume.
Hands up now, hands down. Tell me what you're for now. It's in now, Democrats out. Hands up now, hands down. Wall up, tell me what you're gonna vote now. Dabbling. Keep dabbling. Come on. Keep dabbling. Keep dabbling. Yeah. Keep dabbling. You might also like political stuff, Dabbleverse stuff. Mumbling, pineapple stuff, dabbling, controversial stuff. Now I know y'all be loving this shit right here. NICK mumbling is right here. People in the house, put them hands in the air. Cause if you don't vote, then we don't care. 1, 2, 3 times 2 to the 6. Jonesing for your fix, so that dabble politics mix. So where the fudge you at, punk? Shut the fudge up and back the fudge up while we fudge this track up. On your flags up, on your flags up. Oh no, on your flags up, on your flags up, on your flags up. Hands on in, now it's on out. Hands up now, hands down. Back up, tell me what you're gonna ducks now. Republicans in now, Democrats out. Guns up now, hands down. Back up, tell me what you're gonna vote now. Dabbling. Keep dabbling. Come on. Keep dabbling. Keep dabbling. Keep dabbling. You wanna mess with dabbling in politics? You can't mess with dabbling in politics.
This is long. I mean,
yeah, it's like 3 minutes. I figure, I was watching it.
You find if it was, an intro before you got on.
Yeah, we'll just kill it. I was gonna say oh, look who we got. What's up, Elon?
Hello. I don't have an Elon voice.
I was gonna say when I listened to it earlier, there's like right at the 50-second mark, there's a good part to like cut it. Like if you just want to do like a 50-second intro, that's right before it gets all into the song. And then I figure we could play the whole thing as like the outro, was the way I was gonna go. But I fucked up the beginning, but whatever. Here we are. Everybody, thank you to the first ever episode of Dabbling in Politics. Once again, I'm Mumbling Nick. This is Liquid Cryptid. The premise is we are going to discuss politics on a weekly basis. The good thing or bad thing is we don't have a lot of prep, so we are going to pretty much just go with it. We've talked offline, Mr. Cryptid and I. We had a pretty good rapport. We could just keep going and going and going. So we'll pick topics each week, and we'll just go with it. And this week, we're going to focus on Mr. Elon Musk and his nice agency there, shutting everything down. Mr. Cryptid and I disagree on this matter, so we'll should be pretty good.
Yeah, I watched your video, basically responding to Gino. Well, responding to Gino, responding to your chats.
Right. That was so
like, oh
funny.
my God, you're so wrong about Elon. Now I understand you don't like him. All right, that's fine. You don't like him because you got the whole, there's no great wealth without great crime, sort of thoughts like that. But yeah, I mean, let's get into it, man. I mean, Elon's doing great. I think he's doing awesome with DOGE.
So my big thing is it's kind of like self-inspecting something. Like Elon has way too many conflicts of interest going on here. Like, was it USAI? What was it? USAID, whatever. He gets money from that. With the
what is he getting money for?
So what was it? I'm gonna forget the name of it, but the satellites he uses for the cell phones at Starlink. Starlink, right? Yeah.
He got Starlink money for it.
He USAID,
so he killed his own money if he was getting money for it.
It was they put that in that try and get the it was in the
Oh no, I remember that. Yeah. The article is that the Inspector General was investigating USAID for their use of SpaceX for the Starlink satellites. Yeah, if you read the article, it wasn't USAID investigating Starlink. It was the Inspector General investigating USAID and their use of the Starlink.
Oh no, yeah, I wasn't talking about the investigation. I was talking about the I believe he received the government money for putting so they could use the cell phones in I want to say Ukraine. I'm trying to remember now. But my big thing is,
they basically the contract that Musk wanted was he would go ahead and let Starlink be available in Ukraine, but it cannot be used for military. That was the big stipulation, and then they did. They let it be used for military, so he shut it down in Ukraine.
So let me ask you, why do you think Elon is doing great things here? Like, do you don't get me wrong. I think we can all agree that everyone is fine with getting rid of government waste. I just think that two of the most wasteful people in the world, they're not really looking to do that. Like Donald Trump goes to we'll get back to Elon, but I mean Donald Trump goes to Mar-a-Lago every weekend. That's tens of millions of dollars, and a lot of that goes straight into his pocket because he owns Mar-a-Lago.
That's every president.
No, I get that. But
I hate the whole oh, he's on vacation, or oh, he went here, or oh, he went there. Every president gets the huge Secret Service and stuff, and the president, especially these days, can work from anywhere. I mean, we can work from anywhere. Well, I can. I don't know if you can, do the things that you do from a different state.
So I can't, but I think it's ironic you brought that up because that's something Elon and Trump are doing right now. They're trying to get everyone back to work because they said people can't work from home because they
which is fine by me. I mean,
they're not productive. No, I think it's because not to bounce from topic to topic, but I think it's because of the real estate market. Like they don't want all these empty buildings, because all the rich people own the buildings. But
I'm spazzing out. I just picked up my controller. I got to fix something. But anyway, keep going.
It's all good, man. Yeah. So just to get back to I'm with you that the presidents, it's okay if they all go on vacations or whatever. Every weekend's a little much. But what I think the big difference is with Trump is, like you said, he owns the place. So Secret Service needs to rent. Give me a heart attack every time that happens. I think you're showing your real face until I see it's Elon.
Oh, yeah, I'm trying to fix this. I thought I was not going to be the one with the tech issues.
Oh, Mr. DOGE. All right. But anyway, like I said, like with Secret Service, they got to stay in rooms, and so that goes into Trump's pocket. They rent golf carts, that goes into Trump's pocket. You're not supposed to be
everywhere every president goes.
The presidency. No, it's not every.
That's every place that every president ever goes.
Yeah, but this president owns this place. That's the problem.
You like that one? and yes, I know the condoms for Gaza was in Gaza, Mozambique, not actual Gaza.
Right. I know. Yeah, I figured you knew
but it's still fucking funny. So,
so do you think that they will? Oh,
I love this picture.
Not to get off topic. I tried to figure. I never commented on Elon's kid there. Was he
I don't like him.
Trump, or was he talking to a reporter when he was telling?
You know what? It's so hard to tell.
I couldn't tell, so that's why I didn't want to say anything, because I didn't want to be. People just jump, and then it doesn't even matter what the kid said. He's a little kid, so that's why it didn't matter. It was meaningless. But yeah, I was just curious.
Yeah, he's like 4. Who cares what he said?
Right, 100%, 100%. Yeah, no, I agree.
It's like maybe he was yelling at the reporters, maybe he wasn't, maybe he was talking to Trump. Who cares?
No, that's something we shouldn't. Yeah, we could agree.
He honestly really shouldn't have been there in the first place. And honestly,
right?
Maybe it is kind of good for for him to maybe have these experiences, especially if Elon wants him to go into politics later or something. Or, maybe if he does have an idea, he's got a jump start for politics.
Yeah, there we go. I think it was Jon Stewart. I think it was Stewart. I forget who it was, but someone had a pretty good joke on it. Like, your father's the richest man in the world. He owns SpaceX, so like you're taking you to work, you think you're gonna go see rockets shoot up, and instead he takes you to like a budget meeting in the Oval Office or whatever.
Oh my God, that's so true. Yeah, instead you're in a boring meeting with a bunch of old guys in a stupid room you don't care about. I think Elon does quite a lot of good, even even outside of DOGE. I think he's been a very positive influence on people in general, just as a whole.
It's funny. I went to college as an adult, like the past 10 years ago, and there were just guys that love Elon. There's nobody that loves Zuckerberg. You know what I mean? There's nobody that loves Bezos.
Oh yeah, Elon's got his sycophants, that's for sure. I am not an Elon sycophant by any stretch of the imagination.
Gotcha.
I've just, I recognize when somebody, I recognize the deeds. It's like I've always said, you can not like somebody and praise them for what they do that you like, and then you can dislike somebody, or you can like somebody and criticize them for things that you don't like. That's called being an adult.
Yeah, no, I agree. So, I guess my biggest issue with the whole thing is, well, number one, like I said, I don't trust that Trump or Musk are going to dig out their own waste. Like they haven't even touched the Pentagon yet, which is, I think I mentioned in the thing with Gino that they failed 7 audits in a row, and that's where we spend the most money. It's obviously where we waste the most money. Elon has contracts. I don't know if he's just going to ignore it. I think he's actually going to go in there, but just not touch his own stuff. I don't know.
Well, I hope he doesn't. Boeing has been an albatross around the neck of the DOD and NASA for a very long time. Boeing needs to go. They need to not.
Yeah, no, I can. Boeing's a fucking disaster. Yeah,
they are, and their contracts that they've had with the government have just been, it's absolute insanity. What they charge the government. I really hope that Elon does keep the contracts with SpaceX. SpaceX actually saves the government a lot of money in launches. That's why. And when I say a lot of money, I mean, I don't know if you know what a rocket launch costs. To move mass into low Earth orbit. Let's say like to the ISS. It's on the I think it's a ULP, whatever it's the Boeing and Northrop Grumman make most of the rockets that I think it's the Atlas and the Delta rockets that we were using, before the Falcon 9, obviously. They run about $10,000 a kilogram to low Earth orbit, which that seems like okay. It's expensive. A kilogram, by the way, is 1 liter of water. If you want to know how much weight that is, so if you have a 1 liter, it's like a 2 liter bottle is 2 kilograms. It's something that we would know as Americans, For a Falcon 9 launch to low Earth orbit, it's about $1,500 per kilogram. And they're planning on reducing that by another 30% by the end of next year. So would you rather the government be using SpaceX rockets at $1,500 a kilogram, or about $38 to $60 million a launch, or the ULP or the other rockets at somewhere between 100 and 300 million a launch?
Yeah, I think my big thing with that is I haven't given a lot of thought about this space stuff because I have different priorities. It doesn't really interest me. I get it. We got to go. Things are moving to space now. It's not about going to the moon. It's about satellites and all that shit. But the privatization. Let me start with the word with some of this stuff.
No, it's yeah.
does bother me a little bit. I was more just saying that like if Elon's thing's cheaper and we're gonna do it, I'm fine with it. I'm not against all these contracts or whatever. I was just saying that there are conflicts of interest, and everyone knows he's not going to touch his own stuff. He's not going to touch any and the stuff he is touching, like shutting down, the education department. Like I don't like it's
that needed to go.
It's not even legal what he's doing. Like this stuff's crazy. Like everything's going up to judges because they're not going through the steps. Like this isn't even like a real agency. Like I know Trump says it is, but there's supposed to be processes with Congress and checks and balances, and it's just not happening.
The contracts that they're currently getting rid of are ones that they just can. They have a clause in them stating that it's called termination convenience termination or something like that. So they literally can just terminate it for any reason, and those are the ones that they're going after right now. The problem with going after the DOD, of course, is that a lot of those are exactly what all the Dems are complaining about, right? That is literally congressional appropriations that go to the DOD. So you can't just go in there and stop it. So I think going after the low-hanging fruit now, and then maybe later on get mired down in the Pentagon, because I 100% agree. We need to go after the Pentagon. We need to go after the DOD. No more $5,000 hammers.
Let me ask you this. Like, so all this money, hold on one second. Sorry. All this money that they're supposedly saving, like, I don't know if people are delusional to the fact that it's going to come back to us to help us. Like that, it's going to be big wherever this money's going. Like,
well, the money's not going anywhere.
Tax cuts to the rich. It's not going to. If we're going to save all this money, it's not going to help American citizens.
Here's the thing. Like I keep hearing, I've heard you say this before as well. Where is all this money we're saving going? Here's the thing. It's not going anywhere. This is money that is being borrowed in order to pay for this stuff. So it's like, let's say that, you need to borrow $5,000 a month to survive. You and I can't do that, obviously, but the government can. And then you say, oh, I don't need a bunch of this stuff. So now I only need to borrow $3,000 a month to survive. Where did that $2,000 go?
No, I know what you're saying, but it's like this.
Nowhere. It's just you're not spending it anymore.
So I don't think the average American realizes this isn't really going to help us in any way. Like
not increasing the deficit seems like, or not increasing our debt to China and various other. Well, it's the World Bank type of thing, but
right. It's
all much of like China and other like third world countries that buy up that debt or whatever. It's a whole thing and it's retarded. But that's what I'm saying. Like debt spending is not a bad thing. The levels that we're getting to now really need to be calmed down, like a lot.
I get that, yeah. But now they're going to go and just give them bigger tax cuts to the rich, and then it's like it's never to the debt's going to go back up. It's not even real anymore. Like the mint's not like none of this is like even real to me anymore. All the money, all the debt.
Oh, it's so much money. It's beyond imagining.
Right. It's like unfathomable at this fucking point. So like I don't even put much. I don't even prioritize that kind of shit anymore. But it is. Like I'm not. This is where I'm going to sound almost anti-American. I don't like people that just think the Constitution's great because it's the Constitution and our government democracy is great because it's democracy. It's like I think things are good and things are I think the First Amendment's good because I think freedom of speech is fucking good. You know what I mean? Oh man, I just lost my train of thought. I had a good fucking point. I thought. I'll come back to it. Where was I going? Shit. Anyway, I'll come back to it if I think of it. God damn it. So what do you think of the I believe one of the investigations that they're dangling now is investigating like how all these members of Congress have all this wealth when they only make like $140,000, $180,000 a year.
Oh my God, that's been like a thing forever.
that's where I'm going. It's like people, I don't know if they're just dangling this to like newbies. It's like we've been talking about this for a year, and we know where they get the money. Most of them get them from they do insider trading with the stock market.
Well, insider trading and of course there's always all the little loopholes and workarounds from lobbyists and stuff like that.
Yeah, all that stuff, right? And Trump knows that. I remember this was an issue even when he was president the first time. It came up. Someone wrote an article on it. And
that's actually what I kind of liked about him, because he literally said, yeah, and I use those too.
Right. So now it's like, well, okay. Like, don't get me wrong, that's one of my big bitches. I hate that they insider. It's disgusting. Like, we would go to jail for the shit they fucking do. But this investigation doesn't need to be long. We already know where it is. So that's what makes me think it's just all a ploy. Like, oh, look over here. We're going after this. We're going after that. It's almost like a magic trick. Like, look at this hand. Don't look over at this hand.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like, when I'm sure you saw my X post. Every president has said that they're going to go after this, and what Republicans do is they say, "Oh, look, we reduced the deficit," which means we didn't spend as much money as we were predicted to spend. And then Democrats are like, "Hey, we caught a bunch of tax cheats," and it's like, "Hey, I know a good place to find tax cheats. Go down the hall."
Yeah, no,
but they're never. That's why I like this. You said it before. Would I like when Obama was running, he really strongly ran on. I'm sure you remember he strongly ran on getting rid of waste and stuff, and balancing the budget and reducing the deficit. He ran hard on it. And then, a couple of years later, he's like, "Oh, he found some people on Medicare that shouldn't have been, and a couple of tax cheats." And everybody was like, "Well, that's not what we're talking about."
Right. No, Obama ran, whether you like Bernie Sanders or not, he ran on trying to beat Bernie Sanders, and he took more money from Wall Street than anyone else. Yeah, no, he was fucking terrible. So about your tweet, what I was going to say is I actually agree. The one good thing is that they're showing that they're exposing that this shit can be done and that no one just wants to do it. I totally agree with that part.
Yeah, this whole time. This whole damn time, all they had to do was just do it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I just don't think they're the ones that do it. Like, I don't think Elon knows what he's looking at. I don't think he knows what he's reading here half the time. I don't know if that Gaza condom thing was he knew it was wrong, or if he just didn't and just said it, or if he doesn't know what he's doing when it comes to this.
I mean, let's be honest here. It's more funny if we're sending condoms to Hamas.
Yeah, right. So that's what I mean. I don't know if it was purposeful or not. You know what I mean?
But B, it doesn't really matter. We're sending condoms to some. We're spending $3 million or something like that.
I think it was more than that. Yeah,
condoms to a foreign country, and it's like, okay, well, first off, that's a lot of condoms.
They have those they have AIDS problems in Africa, big time. Absolutely. All right. What I was going at is I had the analogy. Like I believe it's a good thing to bring up because the last two presidents seem to have problems with transportation. Pete Buttigieg had issues with trains, and Trump's guys having trouble with fucking airplanes over here.
I know, what is going on with the airplanes? It's like Trump gets in there and they're just falling out of the sky now.
It's like we hadn't had one in whatever it was, 16 years, and all of a sudden...
no, we've actually had several thousand.
Right. Oh, was it fatal?
No, crashes. It's
yeah.
I used to be an aircraft mechanic and I worked under the FAR, so I understand the FAA. It's like, a plane gets anywhere near any other plane and it's an incident, but
gotcha.
But they've run into each other and stuff like that. It happens all the time. But yeah, actual fatality crashes. Haven't had them in forever. Now all of a sudden, as I said, a couple weeks, the one comes down and then there's another one coming down, and then what was that? That helicopter just flew straight into that fucking.
that thing was fucking weird. That helicopter looked like it ran right into that thing on purpose.
Yeah, it's like, how do listen? Okay, Yeah, it's a crowded sky in that area and stuff like that, but there's a lot of sky there. And there's not a lot of there's a lot of planes, but there is a lot of sky. It's actually kind of hard to hit another plane.
I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure it's easier near an airport, but it's got to be hard in general. But
yeah, but I mean, you got to really aim for it because I mean, and besides that, there's all sorts of alarms and there's shit going off everywhere. Saying, oh, what is it called? Proximity alerts and all sorts of stuff. I mean, they got all sorts of sensors and shit going on there that. I mean, the alarms had to be blaring on that helicopter.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy. The point I was getting at is I'm trying to think of it as you're talking, and I can't. But there was that big train crash, derailment when Biden was
up in
president.
Ohio.
Ohio, yeah, I can't think of the name of the town. But the investigation, they essentially investigated themselves, or they audit themselves, and it's like I feel like that's what's going on with Trump, Elon, and DOGE. This isn't some outside entity that doesn't have anything to lose. Like, of course, they're going to go after Democrats, and this is what I mean. Democrats will go after Republicans. It's like this isn't a neutral thing, and they're going to go after maybe even go after their competitors, and they're certainly going to go after Elon's going to go after agencies that went after him. That
I certainly hope so.
Well, that's not good, man.
As I say, like a lot of this, like I know a lot of this is like if you go, like you should hear Elon's talk on some of the regulations that they had to do with their first. I think it was their first Starship launch. Sorry, for those of you wondering, I still have a cough, so.
Yeah, we both do. You may see random. If my head goes off like this, that's what's going on.
And then I've been. Or my mic's attached to my face right in front of my nose, and you can hear that when I'm not muted. What were we saying? Oh yeah, like he wanted to do a launch, and he's like, so they had to get permission from the EPA, and the EPA says, okay, how will this affect the sharks? And Musk goes, what? Like, okay, you need to do a study on how this will affect the sharks if it comes down in the ocean. So he says, okay, give me the shark data, and we'll see how it's going to affect the sharks. Figuring it's not. It's obviously not. Yeah, I mean, it isn't. So he says, okay, give me the shark data. And they say, we can't give you the shark data. And he says, what? We can't give you the shark data. It is secret because people hunt sharks for their fins, shark fin soup, the whole thing.
Yeah. So
the shark data is not available. So he says, how am I supposed to do that? He said, anyway, they went round and round and round. They did the shark. They finally got the data. The EPA finally, relented and gave it to him because, otherwise you can't fucking do it. So he does the shark data, everything. So he comes back and says, okay, we did the shark thing. And then they said, well, how about the whales? He's like, well, what about the whales? He's like, well, what if a booster comes down and hits a whale? And Musk says, well, that whale obviously had it coming. But I mean, it's a funny anecdote, right? But it's the reality of just doing anything. Like these people in California. I used to live there, but these people in California right now, with the fires and stuff, they're not going to be able to even start rebuilding for another 5 years. Like that's how long it takes just to get through the process. And like a lot of them, it's a funny thing because like, who was it? I think it was some actor said that he wanted to rebuild right away because a lot of those houses, are rich people, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of rich people were there in those houses. And one of the actors was like, he wanted to rebuild, but they asked him for an environmental impact study. He needs to do an environmental impact study for his house and his neighborhood that was just burnt down by a fire.
Yeah,
and that's and anyway, that's the stuff that Elon wants to get rid of, and I'm all for it.
So then it's ironic if Elon's, and I have no proof he's lying, but I don't always trust these guys. But on the other side, that getting back to that train derailment in Ohio, there, the regulations were so ridiculously weak on the other side. Like the brakes, you had to just have brakes that were like invented like in 1886 or something like that were good enough. And there's all these brand new, way better brakes that you don't have to use for some fucking reason, because like it would cost so much money for to do that, and usually that's the donors. They don't want to screw the donors, so I don't know. Usually these regulations are weak, so I'm afraid.
That's the thing. It's like regulations. They either do nothing or do too much. Like a lot of them. Listen, I'm not against regulations. There are specific regulations that are in there for a specific reason. Like you just said. Like why are they not regulated to use the better brakes?
Right.
The other issue is that regulatory agencies have been given the power to basically legislate through regulations. Like they could just make regulations. They'd be given that power by Congress, because Congress is like, it's too much. We can't vote on all these regulations because it's more than we have. And it's like, I'm all for Congress doing less. Like if they need to spend all day voting on, what kind of brakes a train should have and the regulations involved with that, and not voting on some other stupid bullshit. I need to.
It's all good, man.
Yeah.
I'll riff while you fix it.
Oh no, I just need to move around. I set it up so it's easier to do, but my controllers are fucked.
Like I told everyone, it's the differences are going to be not just in the politics. It's in the you got a guy in his living room in a mask, and then you got virtual reality on the other side.
Yeah, and I've got 4 programs going to make this work, and they're not. They generally all behave until I actually get on stream or make a video.
Hold on.
But anyway, what we're talking about? Oh yeah, regulation. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I'm very much against all this stupid overregulation, and a lot of it is, as I said, it's just regulators justifying a position that they shouldn't have to begin with. They're just like, we're a regulation company. We are we're a regulatory agency, so we need to make regulations. Like that's what we do. It's kind of like the thing with any political body who, they're like even your state, local, federal, whatever legislative branches. They're like, oh, we're legislators, so we need to legislate. We need to make legislation. And it's like, no, you do not. You can just not bring up stupid shit. There are things that you really don't need to legislate at all.
No, there's obviously some overreach, but I have to admit, in most cases, I'm in favor of the. I will always admit there's shit that goes too far. It gets ridiculous at times, but usually the billionaires are trying to cut the corners on the regulations. They're not, trying to. Not concerned about safety. Again, I don't know about Elon's whole thing with the ocean there, but
I think Elon does treat his employees quite well. I don't know any, but I've heard interviews that he does, and I've seen videos, but that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah,
so I don't know. I haven't heard anything from an actual, maybe former employee of anything that was bad. Outside of he wanted me to work.
I'm just gonna go with it. I don't know. I'm not gonna act like I looked into the employees at other places, but I remember when he took over for X, he got rid of tons of them and told them you're gonna work 20-hour days for blah blah blah. And I know he's killed in overtime. Remember Trump?
He wants to stop taxing overtime.
Which
I'm all about. Yes, let's stop tax. The tax on overtime is retarded.
That wasn't where I was going with that. But that's another loophole where I don't think that's gonna.
To your point, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to derail.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I know what you're talking about. We'll get back to that. But what I was getting at is even with all these agencies, there are maybe assholes at the top that Elon doesn't like, but a lot of these are just office workers and all this stuff. Now they're all out of jobs, just like all the X people are out of jobs. So there's a ton of people, American citizens, working class citizens, now out of jobs.
You think
trying to X more?
The people he fired from X were not working class people. They had a 9-to-5. They had a job.
No, those guys, right.
Not
I'm saying a lot of these agencies now too. Whatever it is, it's still jobs, man. They're not. That's my.
Yeah, but you can't just give a person a job so they can get a paycheck and have a job, and not have them do anything.
No, but X ran a lot more efficient when there were people. I mean, when he had that live stream with Trump, it was awful. I thought Trump had dentures in his mouth because it was so bad. I'm sure if he kept some of his tech guys. Yeah.
Actually, no, that is untrue. Because I watched it too, and it was a problem with the app. If you watched it if you watched it through a webpage on your computer, the audio was just fine.
What was the X?
It was actually an issue. It was an issue with the app. Yeah, it was an audio issue with the app.
It just seems like every time
because I heard it too. I was like, "This is ridiculous. Yeah. How are they letting the president of the United States sound like this? You know, he like sound like he had a lisp and everything."
Right. And I remember I was listening to it. And then they'd show video from taping literally inside the room, and he didn't have it. So obviously it was something, like
yeah.
So
I mean, I didn't really think about it. I was just watching it outside on the phone. I came in and pulled it up on my computer, and it sounded absolutely fine. And then so I pulled it up again on my phone, and it's like, okay, this is a problem. It's an audio problem with the app, is what it was.
So
which is understandable. It was new to the app at the time. Like that functionality was a brand new thing that they just put in the actual streaming.
Yeah. Elon loves to promise things that never happen. I will say.
Oh, he does. He loves to overpromise and underdeliver. Well,
yeah. I'm not saying he hasn't delivered some great things. I'm just saying he does. I agree with that. He does overpromise and underdeliver a lot. Like we should have been on Mars by now. I think. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, I love Musk, but man, there's some times where he's just like, we're gonna be like on Mars by 2025, and I'm like, no, we're not. It's several years just to R&D something a rocket like that, and it's
right.
And then, like as I said, the boring company was a fucking stupid idea. It's like, anything about boring machines. It's like, yeah, the rocket technology is not going to help a boring machine. And the Hyperloop, which is like just the most retarded thing in the world.
Right. So I think this is going to be one of the big differences between maybe me and you, or I don't want to speak for you, but me and the Elon guys, the Elon fanboys, is like, as far as my government, it's like I'm into, let's get cost of living down, let's get some wages up. And I'm not saying we're all going to live like kings, but like when like 60% of the country is living paycheck to paycheck, and the poverty levels where it's at, and the number of kids that rely on food, they eat food at school, they don't eat it all. It's like, it's not good. I want to take care of that stuff. I don't care about going to Mars. I don't care about even cutting what they think is some of this waste. Yeah, I'd like to cut waste, but I like to take care of these other things first. It's like everything they're prioritizing, I don't give a shit about.
Well, the problem with the school lunches is more about giving them to every kid, even ones that don't need it. And that's just a waste of money. We've had school lunch programs. I was on a school lunch program when I was a kid because my mom was, on welfare and stuff. So I'm absolutely 100% fine with school lunch programs for, poor families, underprivileged kids and stuff like that. That's fine. And in fact, most people on the right absolutely 100% agree with that. It's this move to give the free lunches to everyone. Like, does the high school in Beverly Hills really need to give every kid a free lunch?
No, that's fair. The thing is, and I don't think Beverly Hills would even qualify for this. I know some of the thinking is, and it is true that a lot of the kids that get the free shit, they're embarrassed. So they don't, I don't know how it is now. I remember when I was a kid, the kids would get like the special slip or whatever, and so everyone knew who got the free lunches. And I'm sure it's more tech driven these days, but
yeah, it was
I know that was part of it.
But
yeah, like a lot of kids would go hungry because they were embarrassed, that they were the poor kids or whatever. But my bigger point on that is that these are the issues like hunger, wages, cost of living, healthcare that I would rather focus on and not. I mean, they're setting up to cut Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security. I don't know if people are paying attention to that.
They are not.
Yes, they are.
No, they are not
setting that up. Yes.
No, they are not. That a lot of that is actually from stuff from Trump's first term, where some bills were proposed to actually do stuff like that, but they ended up being extremely unpopular, so they never actually got to the floor at all. But yeah, all those are not happening. They do want to audit those systems and make sure the waste and fraud and stuff going on there. It's basically what they want to do is they want to reduce the amount of administration and whatnot, but not like they don't want to kill the programs or remove people's payments or coverages or anything like that. But yeah, a lot of that is just, it's literally from a bill proposed during Trump's first term, which I don't know, I'm going to repeat myself now. But yeah, it was unpopular and never went anywhere.
It's definitely, I'm trying to, this sucks. I wish I had, as you know, we both had busy days today. I wanted to look just at a couple of key terms, and I can't remember the guy or the exact term he used. But one of Trump's guys was on one of the news shows the other day, and he talked about cutting. Obviously, he didn't say those programs, but he was describing those programs like, shit. I'm seeing. I can't back up my statement unless I can think of it. But yeah,
we're not here to back things up.
No, that's what I mean. That's what sucks. It's like I can't think of the term he used, which is like code for fucking Medicare, Medicaid, the
welfare.
No.
Socialism.
No, it was
socialism.
Yeah, I bet that's a dirty word for you.
I'm all for the public safety net.
That's good. Yeah, what's funny is like I'm that poor asshole who's always never wealthy enough, but makes too much money to qualify for any of that stuff. I'm always in fucking no man's land. So I don't.
Yeah, it does suck. Like that kind of suck being in that area where it's like, I'm making enough money to I still can't afford things, but I make too much to get some assistance. But
I often wonder if I made just a little less, I might actually be better off because I wouldn't have to pay for.
I might get more if I made less.
Yeah, I got to go in some direction. I'm stuck in fucking limbo over here. But yeah, I don't even get those safety net shit, and but I'm good with that. I don't know what I would use to describe myself, but I like the democratic socialist methods that a lot of the European countries use, and I want to.
Yeah, free need for all.
Privatized healthcare, I think is fucking one of the worst things this country fucking has.
Which is why they all come over here.
No, they don't all come over here. If they can afford for some special things, sure, but
well, yeah, there's no real European version of public health care. They all have very different systems.
Yes.
Each Nordic country has their very own system, yeah, and they're all very different from each other. Like, for instance, the UK does have, was the health ministry, whatever it is, and where you can get free health care, but if you're a doctor and you have a private practice, you can have a private practice. You just have to put so many hours in at the whatever their thing is, and a lot of times what they do is they'll get somebody in that they can't actually treat due to limitations on what they're allowed to do, and they'll just refer them to the private practice. And then there's other countries, like I think Switzerland or whatever, it's just like 100% free, but they got like 12 people. So,
Right. That's always, I try to be fair. Like if you ever look at every year, there's a investigation survey, whatever the happiest countries on the earth. And it's always like the European countries, it's always the Nordic countries too. But yeah, I don't know how many people are living in a lot of these places. It's a lot more wide open and rural.
That's what I'm saying. It's easy. It's really easy to say, we have free healthcare when, we tax everybody at, 50%. But they get a lot for that. So everybody's very happy because they get a lot of stuff for that huge tax. And, there's only, maybe 1 million people there, if that.
Right.
And then, you got a country like the United States where that you can't do it. You just can't do it.
You don't think we could do Medicare for all if we expanded it to everybody?
No, not at all. But I've been on Medicare, and I didn't want Medicare for me.
Wow.
It is ridiculously terrible.
I can't vouch for it personally, so I can't.
As I said, my mom, when I grew up, what happens? My mom, she injured herself. She had a very good career. She injured herself, couldn't continue on with it, had to change careers for several years while she was in school. We were on welfare, so I had the Medicare and stuff like that. It wasn't great.
We in my state, like Mass Health is like the state run. If you're poor, you usually get Mass Health, and it's actually, from what I heard from people, it's pretty good. But I said that's a state thing. Yeah, we used to have Romney Care, which became Obamacare, pretty much in this state.
Yeah, didn't you say it was like that, run by that company that dude killed the CEO of?
Oh, United Healthcare. Then what? United Healthcare.
Yeah, there's some horror stories there, man. I'm glad I'm not involved with them at all.
So, unfortunately, that's what I have right now. It's funny when I'm not going to say where I work, but the company I worked for, I've worked at the same place pretty much, but under 3 different. I used to contract for one company, working for another company. Then I got hired by that company, and then another company bought that company. So I've never moved, but it's like 3 different companies. But when I started out contracting, I had United, and it was fucking terrible. And then when I got hired on, I was on Blue Cross Blue Shields, and it was much better.
Oh, they're pretty
and now
good.
They switched back to United, and it's not terrible like it was before, just because I think we pay more, we get a higher quality on their plan. But like the guys that contract now, they if you have the single person plan, you have a how much was the deductible? Fucking Christ. All right, so with mine it's $500 if you're single, $1,000 if you have a family. On theirs it's $5,000 and $10,000. You have a $10,000 deductible, meaning the first $10,000 of your health has to come out of your pocket.
Yeah.
Like who the fuck has that kind of money? And
I actually purposely have that.
Right. Yeah. Well,
yeah, through my health insurance, I have a high deductible, low cost.
Because you don't go to the
health
doctor.
Insurance plan.
Yeah.
Well, no, I have an HSA to go along.
Oh yeah,
with it.
I get you.
And my company puts into the HSA.
Puts in, yeah.
They so I pay me for my health insurance.
Gotcha.
Basically, is what it comes down to.
Yeah, we have the 2 options in my company. I go the other route where I pay more, but it covers more. But the contractors, that's all they offer, and that's what they get. And my sister works for a healthcare billing company. Like they bill for all the healthcare companies, and she says 10-1, 20-1, 30-1. They get more complaints about United than anyone else. Granted, they're the biggest healthcare company in the world, or the country, so you're gonna get the most complaints, but it's off the charts. It's that's why I think whether it's never going to be perfect, but I think it has to be privatized, because when it's about profit, I mean that's what happens. They let people, I had to explain the.
I would say it needs to be single payer. We need to move to single payer. We need to get away from insurance altogether.
Yes, single payer would be fantastic. As well.
Insurance just for catastrophic. Maybe pay.
Yeah.
$100 a month for catastrophic insurance. Where you if you end up in the hospital, but everything should be single payer, because, like, even literally, like right now, you can go in, and if you don't have insurance, you could just pay by cash, and they'll even let you pay in installments, and it's going to be at like a third to a quarter of the cost of what they would have charged if if they're charging the insurance companies, because they got to charge those insurance companies so they can make up the money that they're not getting from, Medicare, Medicaid, all that stuff. The people who come into the emergency room and can't pay are like, they're like the people that can't pay and stuff. So they need to make that money.
Right.
So that's why they overcharge there. But if you go in and you just say, I'm just going to pay cash, you'll probably be surprised at how little a lot of this stuff costs.
Interesting. I mean, I have heard, and this hasn't happened to me, but I do know someone that they what they needed was so expensive. They didn't have insurance, and they had good money, but they wouldn't even. They had to go out and get insurance, so they wouldn't even touch the guy.
Really?
But I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure it depends on what it is and whatever. But yeah, I even with our youngest, without getting into it, he had a procedure early in the year once when he was little, and it wasn't life or death, but it definitely had to be done.
Definitely not free.
It's not a huge. Let's just say only one testicle fell, so they had to surgically.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, so it causes problems down the line.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had to pay the deductible. This is when I had United, and it was higher, and I had to pay the deductible before they would do it.
What?
Yeah,
that's weird. I've literally never had to pay before something is done. I go into the hospital, get whatever's done, and then a couple weeks later I get a bill in the mail.
Yeah, that was the one time that shit happened to me. I was actually surprised because I thought I was going to be okay, whatever. But yeah, I mean, it was many years ago at this point, but it was that's what kind of really turned me off to the whole thing.
Well, I think we're winding down here.
Yeah.
We almost made it an hour.
Not bad for the first one, man. Well,
yeah, and I was the one with technical issues, which I did not think I would be.
I saved my technical issues for Eccles show instead of my own, so that was good. But I'm actually surprised we got some people in here. I'm good. I wish I had paid more attention to the chat. I'm just now doing it now.
I looked a little bit. How many do we got in here? I can't
sure.
see. Does it show anywhere? Somebody tell me how much we got in here. How many people? How many of you?
We had Echo earlier. I know we lost them. Or at least one
yeah, it's getting late.
Yeah, in the UK. Yeah, it's 1 in the morning over there. Yeah,
and it's getting to be Saturday night here in the United States. So I think
Felix, have him back. This is going to be my regular guy here. This is going to be our show. Or unless you're telling him to have me back, we're both going to be back.
I mean, I'll be happy to have you back on your show.
Thank you. No, it's going to be our show. It's just my stupid, if you want to call it a channel. But yeah, we appreciate you guys coming out, especially this first one. I knew it was going to be a little rough. It was kind of thrown together just in the last few days. Well, we've been talking, but picking a time and everything. And we've both been sick. We had very busy weekends, so we didn't really, not that we're going to do major prep, but we're going to do more prep next time, but we just figured we'll talk about Elon and DOGE. And of course I knew one thing, and I'm sure Liquid knew one thing always leads to another, and you're all over the fucking place.
Yeah, so, we really moved far afield.
Yeah, I just realized we ended on healthcare. We were started off on DOGE and Elon. We didn't even scratch the surface, and we ended up.
No, we didn't. Well, I mean,
can touch that again next week, and
yeah, I don't think that's going to slow down anytime soon.
No,
so, I mean,
that's
going to be good content for a long time.
Right, and we'll have to probably talk about it every week because it's going to keep changing. That shit changes like every day. So
yeah, like oh my God, didn't they just go into the IRS?
Yeah,
I think it did.
This one, that one's tough for me too because I'm not angry about that one.
Yeah, I know. Shit. Like, I just did my taxes. Go get them, Elon.
I know. I will say this. I had better tax situation under Trump. I will say that. I know the rich get it a lot better than I do, but as long as you keep me happy, I'll let a little slide, I guess. Or keep not me, but the middle class, lower middle, whatever you want to call it, working poor, working class, whatever.
Yeah. Like I think I saw a headline. I don't think it was real because I've never been able to find it again. But it was like, I think it was like Washington Post or something. It said like IRS agents are nervous that DOGE is showing up at the IRS, or agents are nervous of DOGE showing up at the IRS, and we're all like, "Oh yeah,
yeah."
First time?
That's something our last president, I believe, in my opinion, lied about when he hired extra IRS agents. He said it was to go after the
and armed
rich,
them."
and it's the first time I've ever got nitpicked. And I am not the rich. So
you don't need 50,000.
Yeah.
There's not 50,000 rich people.
Right. Trust me. It was, yeah. I was like, huh, I don't think so. Why am I getting hassled all of a sudden? I never got hassled by anyone when anyone else was president,
Because they have the time.
Right.
They just hired 50,000 people and gave them guns.
Yeah. So I am, when it comes to the IRS, I am not on the liberal/Democrat side. I will say that. I do think the rich get away with incredible loopholes, and
yeah, I take care. I use a lot of those loopholes too. So
it's a whole thing. I think I'm not saying they all pay their fair share, but I don't. If they're gonna nitpick, if they're gonna start going after everything for everybody, and I didn't even cheat on my taxes. I shouldn't even brought it up, but yeah. Let's just say I owed,
on your taxes, huh?
I owed some back stuff, and they came for me for it when they hadn't come for me for it.
And they will.
Yeah, right. So that's what it was.
Especially now that they have 50,000 more agents.
That's what I'm saying. Like no one was looking at. I had more time when they didn't have 50,000 extra agents running around. Yeah.
It's like nobody cared about the 2,000 you owed until they had time.
Right. It didn't. It only took me a matter of weeks to pay it off, but they put the pressure on me when there was no pressure before. We'll just say that. It was either that or they were just going to take it from me.
So hopefully next week we'll have some great IRS stories.
Yes.
Which will probably, I'll try to see if I could I would love to have videos and stuff and clips.
Yeah.
Of people going crazy over the IRS getting audited. I would love to just sit here and laugh at it.
I'm sure there'll be plenty of videos like that. We'll even do like little clips too. Like I said, we just want to get this first one in the vault, get it out there. But hopefully they'll get better and better. I didn't even think this was bad. Did we? Good discussion. The chat was pretty lively. A lot more people showed up. Yeah, I saw some great chats. Yeah. So, and I promise you guys, I'll pay more attention to that next time. If you guys have any questions, comments, I'll start putting them up and talking about them. To be honest, I've been on a bunch of live streams. I've never run one before, so I'm kind of rookie on this one. I've done a lot of pre-recorded videos, but again, that's not a live stream. So I promise I will clamp down. I'll figure out the odds and ends and nooks and crannies. And like I said, I want the chat to be more involved. Like you guys were great. You were chatting the whole time. I caught some here and there, but I mostly wasn't reading it till the end. But I'll do a much better job of that next time. I appreciate you guys being active with that.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting. I was actually really not expecting any chats at all. But
I thought maybe I get a couple Dabbleverse buddies to show up. But I'm pleasantly surprised. Absolutely.
Yeah, there was Felix was getting after it.
Yeah, Felix was the one that was catching my attention through. He was the one I was reading. Like I said, I was reading a bunch at the end, but he was the one that he'd catch my eye here or there throughout the thing. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I caught that one, and then whoever that was ripping me a new one. Yeah. That's okay. That's what we're here for.
He's like, I wasn't expecting to really interact with the chat so much on this one. As I said, I really just kind of wanted to get this one in the pocket, see how it goes.
Yep, that was the goal. But like I said, going forward, I mean, maybe more and more as we go along. I even think it'd be great if they had questions or ideas, and we'll talk about it. Stuff like that. All right.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get into it anyway. Yeah, we're about an hour.
So we'll end this thing. We'll play the whole maybe we'll play the whole song as we leave.
All right, I'll be watching.
All right. Thank you, Liquid. Thank you, chat.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, sorry, the question there. Yeah, we were gonna plan on doing these as of right once a week. We're mostly Saturday nights, I think, for now. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think we Saturday nights. I was thinking, we'll talk about that later. But yeah, Saturday nights for now.
Yeah, it'll be on the weekend. That's all we're saying. Saturday or Sundays, and we'll
do program planning not on the air.
Right, but it will be weekly.
Yeah, Saturday nights.
Vladimir Putin, yes. So it'll be on the weekends weekly. Thank you. All right, guys. Thanks for showing up. I appreciate it.
See y'all. Maybe. At some point.
Yeah, we'll be on here real quick. Don't worry, guys. I swear.
Patience.
Right. I'll take us out.
Now I know y'all be loving this shit right here. NICK mumbling is right here. People in the house, put them hands in the air. Cause if you don't vote, then we don't care. 1, 2, 3 times 2 to the 6. Jonesing for your fix of that dabble politics mix. So where the fudge you at, punk? Shut the fudge up and back the fudge up while we fudge this track up. On your flags up, on your flags up, on your flags up, on your flags up, on your flags up. Retort in, now retort out. Hands up now, hands down. Back out, tell me what you're gonna ducks now. Republicans in now, Democrats out. Guns up now, hands down. Black up, tell me what you're gonna vote now. Dabbling, 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 dabbling. Keep dabbling, 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 dabbling. Come on. Keep dabbling, 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 dabbling. 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 You wanna mess with dabbling in politics? You can't mess with dabbling in politics. Cause when we debate it on every week Saturday night, and it's YouTube thing right here. Yo, we're doing it all the time. So you better get some better views and get fame for all your time. So we got the gang set, so don't complain yet. 24/7, never begging for a rain check. Old school dabblers blasting out the political shit. The back and forth shit, put you bounce in the dabble pit. On your flags up, on your flags up, on your flags up, on your flags up, on your flags up. Retort in, now retort out. Hands up now, hands down. Back out, tell me what you're gonna ducks now. Republicans in now, Democrats out. Guns up now, hands down. Working like up, tell me what you're gonna vote now. Dabbling, 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 dabbling. Keep dabbling, 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 dabbling. Come on. Keep dabbling, 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 dabbling. 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 Hey ladies, where you at? Hey fellas, where you at? And the dabblers that don't give a fuck, where you at?